everybody, welcome back to the channel. And it is early in the morning and we are going to make you a Friday video, so I figured I'd bring you along and show you my full day and what is involved in order to put out a video. So we got to go up first, and most important thing, I got to go get a cup of coffee. That's the first order of business. And then if anybody can guess what this is all about, we got a project coming up in the shop with the CNC machine, and I'm going to be making something to take to the Paul Bunyan show. In order to do that, I need to go up to Lowe's and pick up a different router. My old 1604 Bosch routers, they're beautiful routers, great workhorses for the shop. Only thing they did not have is variable speed. So I am looking at another Bosch router that does have the variable speed, 2¼ horsepower, which would be plenty of power. And we need a new inlay bit. There's going to be some inlay work done on this project, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's go get a coffee. All right, we got our router, we got our inlay bit, we got our hole saw, and now we're on our way up to Uncle Edmund's, and we're going to move some dirt around up there, and then we're going to go up to the sawmill and we're going to switch our saw blade out on this video and hopefully make a test cut. Brett worked on that blade for over 3 hours, hammering it and putting new saw bits in it, and I just want to make sure it runs true. And that's what we're going to be doing today. So a lot of stuff to do today, and you can see that this is a much harder job than what I used to have. So, but it's fun. So thanks for coming along. We'll be heading up to Uncle Edmund's. Well, we're back up at Uncle Edmund's, and I've been nibbling away at the small stuff here. Been burning that in my little solo stove, my little Flame Innovation Revolve fire pit, and I just been cutting up all the just nonsense stuff that normally people would just discard, but we're making really good progress up here. So we just put these logs aside because I think they're worthy of maybe some lowboy decking, and I'll keep hacking up a lot of this stuff here into pieces for my little recreational fire or morning fires. So you can see where the kiln's going to sit is roughly about where the tote bladders are. I got to cut the bottoms of those out. They had a little bit of residue left in them, so I just let that stuff, it was just paint, highway paint is what most of it was. So they're done bleeding out, so I can get these bottoms cut with little Donnie. And you can see the elevation is it's looking good now. So we're going to spend about an hour or so up here, then we're going to head up to the mill, and again we're going to pop that blade off and switch it out with the one that Brett had hammered for us. And it's going to be a really nice Woodyard, and the sun is coming up. It's early in the morning yet, and I'm going to set up a camera somewhere here. We haven't done much splitting because we're trying to get all the prep done, so when we start it'll go, just come up here and just do firewood, not have to do 10 other things. And the leak in Eddie's machine is gone, so the hose that's sitting right here absolutely solved the problem. So that was the leak, just a crimp on the hose. So the John Deere 250 is Very happy it's not leaking oil now. So we're gonna get something done. We're going to put the chop saw blade back on, and they put protectors on the okay, this is left hand thread, so righty loosey, lefty tighty.
Is that right?
Yeah. That's left.
Yeah, it pulls against it.
Well, yeah. Well, plus it's being driven from the opposite side. So if if the arbor was coming out this way, then it would be right hand. And what I explained before in a couple of videos, if you look at the teeth on this saw, that's what you call a negative hook. The reason for the negative hook on a chop saw or a crosscut saw is so it don't grab, because you don't want this thing getting aggressive. Oh, gotta get down in. There we go. Let me get the collar on it. And I had cleaned it earlier, so it is perfectly clean. And we will pull that wax off of there once it's installed here. So you don't have to beat this thing with a hammer.
Tight's tight.
Yeah. And I know someone's going to say you shouldn't use your palm as a hammer. Come on, just get over that. Okay.
It's there.
It's there. It was a tool. All right. So we're just gonna install the outer guard on here and pull that wax off, so we have a nice sharp chop saw. So that's back in service, and then we're gonna attack the head saw next. So we'll finish this up. Well, let's get this started. Okay, what I gotta do first is I gotta get this guide out of the way. And what's nice about this, it's tooless. This whole front arm will come off. Just got to be careful I don't dump nothing down in the saw dustbin. There's some sort of a spring or something here. remember that one time
Yeah, to go down right down in that pipe, right where it don't belong.
What was it, a key? When something come off. And that's how that works. So the inner guide stays right where it's at. I guess in the I took it this way. That's why I was careful this time. So really a saw should not be put on with a hammer, but we'll see what happens here. So what we want to do, let me get my gloves on it. Oh, pantograph. Bad place for the carriage. So what we want to do, just basically like that. If you're using a hammer, putting your saw blade on, I suggest you throw your hammer away. You're going to crush your saw collar. And I watch people put saw blades on YouTube, and the big burly guy gets a hammer and he starts beating on it like an ape. And all he's doing is damaging his collar. Okay, we got to get that one lug pin come out. Move that back and forth. Nope, it's stuck in there pretty good. There's shear pins in here. So you want to make sure that the shear pins, which one, I can get it out of there real easy. But this collar is very delicate, believe it or not. You do not want it to crush. So once we get the blade up out of here, and I gotta watch my head.
Yes.
But we needed the carriage back here to do what we're doing. So we're going to get this blade up out of the hole onto this wood. Yep, ready as I'll be. There. It's been on there for a while, 2 years. Okay, let's get it over there. Ready?
Yep.
Then run a wooden plank, and we're just gonna slowly walk it. Let's see if I can bump my head again.
Somewhere's in there.
Foot ready? Okay, whenever you're ready. Slowly bring it down a bit. Threads. All right. Well, we can spin that around once we get onto our long part.
Yes.
That.
There. Real close, huh? Okay.
There it is. Now, what I want to try to explain to everybody. Now this is a shear pin. These are, I think we're running 9/16 in here. And what you want to do, you want to make sure that that is totally Everything's sitting nice and flush. We still got to get a little bit tighter. You want to take the opportunity to clean the collar very, very good. And I'm going to put the nut on hand tight. Then we're going to do something we call loading the saw.
Very important.
Okay, so we're putting hand tight. So, loading the saw, what I'm going to do now, if you go, let go, Fred. When you go back and forth, you can fill the shear pins. So what you want to do is you want to load it backwards. Let me fill that. There it is. We're loaded against the pin. You don't want it the other way, because if that thing would grab something real hard and start to spin, it'll have enough inertia to shear the pins. We're going to do the same procedure here. And I was always taught just to give it a, we're still loaded, and we want to, that's about it. We're going to install the other side of the guide back on, and then we're going to bring it up to speed. Now I'm going to set them guides under full speed. Now I can see that we got a lot of distance here, but that could come out when it starts to spin. So when you start to set a saw guide, you want to make sure that the pins are not touching at all. Bring the saw up to speed, and then what I do is I'll either bring the inside to not touch the saw, but barely touch the saw. Then you can shut it down. And you want to leave a distance of about a thickness of a business card, and that is proper adjustment. So we're going to go ahead and get that put back together, and we're going to fire it up. And you'll see that the carriage will be down the other end of the track, because you never set a saw guide with the carriage back there. And I don't know if you know the reason or not. Someone had a bad accident. They were playing with the saw guides. The carriage took off down the track, and you can imagine what happened. So
It didn't turn out well.
if the carriage is down that end of the track and it comes backward on you, it's going to push you away from the saw.
Yep.
The other way, it's pushing you into the saw. All right, we're going to set the saw guides here, and you'll see the blade. As it comes up to speed, it will start to straighten out. I'm standing off the side because Brett had put a bunch of oil on it. No wobbles. So I'm going to turn this flashlight on. What we want to do is bring that guide pin until it almost touches. Now we're going to back it off. We're going to bring this one in a little bit closer. Good. All right, he can shut it down now. And you can see as it comes down through the speeds, it does have a little bit of a wobble, but spinning pretty true. So what I'm going to do is take out some of the
That's a little bit wide there, so we're going to bring this one in a little bit tighter. That's about where we want to be right there. So for all intents and purposes, our next test is to, well, we're going to give it a sharpening first of all. Even though that blade was just put brand new bits and shanks, Brett said that them bits out of the box should be dressed up one time. He said then check the angle of your grinder. So I'm going to give it a sharpening. We're going to find a log and see how this thing actually performs.
Alright, I don't know what you can see there, but always put an X on the saw. And first thing I want to check is the angle of this the cutter. Make sure we're coming in on that saw tooth, and it's perfect. So we're just going to give it a little dressing just to get it up, get a nice sharpening. And what we want to do now, if you look at the face of that bit, it's nice and polished. I can't get the camera over there, so anyhow, we're going to go around and hit the whole saw. And Brett said you always want to check it with the side of your fingernail. If you scratch it, then you're sharpening it. So these are, it's day and night difference if you feel this bit versus this bit. So we're just going to work our way around. And this is the other reason I like these new style shanks. It's a regular, and it gives me a ledge for the sharpener to touch. Sort of like when you get a new chain on a chainsaw, some people like to file it. Same thing here. Dressing stick cleans off the diamond, and I don't have a dust mask on, and I'm not putting one on. It'll give you a little sneak peek of the saw hammering before I make the video, so you get to see a little bit of the hammering. Well, I'm going to do this 52 times and get a log ready to saw. All right, let's cut some pine. Oh, I'm going to make them 1.5 inches by 14-ish. So let's wake the dogs up. Been a while since we run the mill. Zizi and I were on a road trip. So with all that being said, we're going to make some lovely pine. We're going to call them 1.5 by 14s. So we're going to see how this saw behaves. And when the saw gets rehammered, you can have a little break-in period for that saw. So if it does some crazy things in the beginning, don't get in a panic, because Brett had put a lot of tension into this saw, and the saw was very loose. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to get rid of
that face, I want to get a flat spot on there anyway. You see the lines I got? That's sort of where I want to be in the end. So when you get an opportunity, take advantage of it. So we're just going to get a little flat spot established and take a couple small cuts here. She sounds wicked sharp. But I'm going to build a firewood stand out front of my shop, a self-service. Alright, that's enough there. That gets me down below my magic number. So let's put that down on the headlock base. And Brent informed me that's a really good Simon saw. It's a newer saw. I don't want to take them big slices off because that's just going to be hard for Eddie to run through that chop saw. Let's just open it up like that. Find out once we start getting into actual sawing boards of where the accuracy is at on this. And that's a nice wide face there. I don't want to take too much off now, even though I'm not quite to my line. So let's bring that top out. And I'm not worried about messing this log up because it's just going to be a little firewood stand. Let's see how much we're going to be taking off there. About that much. That little black piece of plastic seems to be working all right. See how fast the blade likes to throw things? Bring it around now. Turn the camera back. We're going to get it down to a 14-inch or whatever it squares up to real nice. There's no rules for this log. This is mine. And we'll bring you along and show you how I'm going to build a little firewood stand. Let's get past Turtle Island there. Then we're going to get it down to a finished camp. I just want to get something I can edge off there. That's why I left that little bit left on the other side, because if I'd have went to that line, we wouldn't have had as much space on this side. I'm going to take one more off. Pretty good judge on them lines. So let's roll it around and take it down to that 14. Whatever a full board is, if it's 14 and a half, that's what it's going to be. Oh, come on, Chewy. Take one more off. There it is, 14 and a quarter roughly. Seems to be throwing a very accurate board. Find out we get in our chew by. All right, let's roll it back. Says oh, let's just clean that up. I'm going to see what this saw does with just the skin. Not bad. It's not bouncing like a basketball, so now I'm going to start pulling 1.5 inches thick. You can just cut that up for scrap. Yeah, I know it. Back of the saw's walking a little bit, but nothing too hateful. It'll take this saw a little bit of time to get what they call breaking it in. Bottom line, if we're throwing accurate lumber, that's all we really need to worry about. Sure is cutting like a bear. Alright, I'm going to turn it back. Get as many as I can. I'm going to leave a thick one on the end though. Oh. Wrong button, dummy. Boom. Let's take a piece of 1x off. Ain't looking bad though. It gives me a 2-inch board on the dog. That's what I want for the bottom. Alright. I'm going to to go check everything with the tape measure and catch you here at the end. Well, the saw seemed to perform very well, and I was wanting to show you something. Is you see how much you got to really pull hard to get that to move over, and when you have a loose saw, you can barely push this thing and it'll move over the back of the blade, and sometimes it won't even stay away. It'll stay like this when they get real loose on you. So it's going to take a little break-in period, but the saw cut absolutely perfect lumber, just a tiny bit at the back of the saw, but I think that once it breaks in, every time we've had blades worked on in the past, it takes them a little while to get used to their new running, and every mill runs a little bit different, power-wise, and Sawyer's, that's all different too. Everybody has their
feeding. There's
yes,
a lot of variables.
And you know, people hammer about hearing protection. That's the last thing you want in that cab is hearing protection, because you got to hear everything going on. Made some really nice. These are actually 14 1/4 wide, 1.5 inch thick, and I am going to bring you along. We're going to be making a self-service firewood pickup in front of my place, and we got a lot of houses up the road.
Oh, yeah.
And we're getting into fall weather now, and everybody wants to have their little solo stove or their
Sitting out on the patio.
Brio stove or whatever brand. We got the Flame Innovation Revolve Fire Pit. I've been burning that thing.
That thing's nice.
Oh, I've been burning it about every night now, and just sitting out back and enjoying life a little bit in the evening. That's nice. And yeah, we'd really like to thank Andrew and Brett for fitting us in when they did, and they did
hospitality.
The hospitality was
just amazing.
It was amazing. It was
Yes.
totally amazing. We had a great time, and I'm going to throw a clip in this video, just a sneak peek of the saw hammering. In fact, I might do it right after this exit here, and show you, what's involved. I'm not going to show much because I'm going to make a full video of that, and we hit the 100,000 subscribers, and I have not really talked to anybody since. Well, yeah, we were at Shannon's when that happened.
Yeah, a couple days back.
Yeah, in fact, we were eating lunch with Nathan from Out of the Woods when we found out we hit 100,000. Yeah. So, yeah. So now we got to plan some sort of a little picnic. We got so many things coming up. We got the Bunyan Show coming up here October 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Yeah.
There's just so much stuff.
That's always a good time. If you get a chance and you're close.
Yeah, you want to come out and say hi to us? We're going to be on the backside of the arena this year. I believe it's booth 107. Don't quote me. I'll find that out for a fact. Mm-hmm. We'll be with Shannon Burns from Temple Hill. And I hope you enjoyed the Friday video. And also, did you guess what that was on my CNC machine? Leave it in the comments. That's another shop project coming up. Got to make something before the Bunyan Show. So that's going to be happening shortly. So if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider. It really helps the channel out. And go over and check out Time with the Eddie Horvath.
Yes, I appreciate that.
And we'll catch you on the next one. We're going to be sawing oak lowboy deck.
Yep, my favorite.
And then we're going to really give the blade a little test there too. So thanks again. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye-bye. All right, he got it up situated on the anvil pad there. And what kind of hammer are you using there, Brett?
This is a combination hammer. This is a dog head. This side of this hammer is like for a knot or a bump. This spreads it in all directions. This face just spreads it one way. It don't spread it. This just spreads this ridge this way.
Okay.
So it's a combination hammer. I've got another dog head hammer. This was my grandfather's, a dog head that we just hit a bump or a knot, and it distorts that through the blade in all directions. And this hammer, this is a really unique hammer here. I'll show this. The handle is in it crooked for a reason.
Okay.
That is really amazing that they made this. It's made by Hatchet, but this is not. All these hammers are relieved on the corners so you don't cut a saw.
Oh, okay.
This saw has been cut a little bit with a hammer. So when you hit this, you're not wanting to cut the blade, you're just wanting to distort the metal. So but this hammer is made to when you drop this hammer, it is straight.
Oh.
I can't cut it. If I was cutting with edge, I'd have to cut there. I can't get down here to cut with this edge. I'd have to be here.
Okay.
This hammer is made that when you drop it, it comes down straight.
Okay.
So the handle was crooked to make it so the handle's straight. So that's amazing that to put that eye in that angle. And this one don't have. This is a newer hammer, and you just have to kind of. It's relieved. This one you can see that all the edges is relieved. All of them's cut back and all of them relieved.
And that thing,
these are actually
got a nice shine on it from all the metal it hit.
Yeah, these are actually saw hammers. You buy a saw hammer, they're expensive. These are expensive hammers. I bought this hammer probably in about 2000, 2005. I gave $600 for this hammer.
Wow.
And today they're probably more than that. And the amble under it is a chill face amble. They're probably $2,500, $3,000. But all this is hardened. This is all hardened steel, so it don't mellow up. It's harder than the saw.
Right.
Anyway, we're going to hammer this ridge.
All right.
And what I'm going to do, I'm going to just
Put your hearing protection on, everybody.
Put your hearing aids in, or your earplugs in.
There we go.
I'm going to follow this ridge right
All
here.
right.
Did y'all hear that?
All right.
Did you hear that, Mark?
I can't hear.
I heard that outside. I heard that chain.
What outside?
All right.
Okay.
Now he's going to check it again, I guess.
Yeah, we got to check this. We'll check both sides, and it'll take a little while. We just got to go over it and get all the imperfections out of it and get it level.
All right.